This is a pleasure.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, August 8th of 2023. And with us today, I have Don Schwenker, and then I know myself, Mike Steinis, are your county supervisors. Lisa Smith is our county auditor. Bjorn is IT. Luann is back here, executive assistant. And first on our agenda today is Mr. Todd Keeney, our Jackson County engineer. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning. So first on your agenda is to approve the work and right of way request from I guess it call it Iowa State University, but they want to put a sensing device on some piers on the Rockdale Road Bridge to sense fish travel. So it's how they're attached, it doesn't do any damage. It just they just strap it to a pier, so it doesn't. They're not drilling into anything or anything. So it scans the river.
Where are we at here? Rockdale
Road.
By the quarry, the second.
Right out
Second.
Well, on his agenda,
By the quarry.
he has a fish telemetry request for. So.
So you don't see any issues with it?
No, there's little bolts, but it's like a 3-inch PVC pipe is all. That's all it is. They put it into the stream. Goes on the upstream side. It looks like so. We don't see any issue with it.
Watch fish.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and second to approve the telemetry installation of Rockdale Road Bridge. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
All right. Next is we got award quotes on the first one on the agenda is the 33rd Street culvert. Be just north of Miles, back to the west about a quarter mile. Got 2 quotes in, one from S2, one from Eastern Iowa. Low quote is $96,462.61. And this would just be a motion to authorize the chair to sign the proposal form to award to S2 Construction based on their bid amount.
This is budgeted.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a little over our budget. So we had this pipe and another pipe for 50 and 75. Obviously 96 is over that. So we'll probably use the combined budget to do this one and probably not be able to do the other one. So
moved.
I'll second that.
Have a motion second to approve the street culvert replacement Van Buren section 2425 as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
okay, the next one is for the 33rd Street paving out here on the going west out of town towards the golf course. 2 quotes, River City and Manats. Manats being the low quote received of $89,342.13. And this would be a motion to authorize the board to sign the contract for that work.
Can you double check that? What did you say was the low bid?
$89,342.
And who was that from?
River City.
Oh,
Yes,
Oh, it's River City. Yeah.
okay.
What time frame on this?
So we got a late start date of June 1st of 2024. So we gave them a big period to do the work. So this is a mill and overlay. So they could technically start in June of next year and get it done. It's 8 working days. They could start in June and get it done and still be fiscal year 24 work. Okay.
Was this on the 5 years? That's just one of this project.
This is just maintenance work.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we've been talking about it for 3 years or better, and we know it needs it. So
I'll second that.
a little confusing when we have 33rd Street down by Miles and we have 33rd Street by the golf course.
and there's 33rd Street by all the
Nashville. So I have a motion and a second to approve the project quote for 33rd Street resurfacing as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Will this do it just out of curiosity when we do this? Will this do anything like, I know there's a lot of gravel comes out of the livestock area, get out gets out on the road? Will there be any kind of way to address that, or?
So we'll do the fillets at driveways. I don't know if is there side roads that come into that are gravel?
No.
To the south, there is, ain't there? To the, no, well, that's
It's
paved.
my drive.
My
Drive, that's
that's
paid. Just be the livestock, that's just a city block driveway.
Yeah, so we'll probably do the normal fillet, which is usually 2 to 3 feet, unless you.
Which you are also gonna be 6 inches higher, probably, or 5 inches higher, and then you will have.
It'll be, I think we're milling at the how the request for quote, but we're milling, I believe, at least an inch and then putting back a leveling course and then 2. So it might be an inch or so higher, but not too much. It's not like we're coming in and overlaying 5 inches on top of what's
Okay.
Next item is a farm entrance, Class C farm entrance permit on Rockdale Road to the north side for Eugene McDevitt. The site distance is fine. So just need motion to approve the permit.
Make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion second to approve the entrance permit for Eugene McDevitt as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
All right, the next thing here is our transportation safety improvement program. So TSIP funds, they're due by August 15th. This relates back to that destination lighting work we were doing. If you recall, we were going to submit permit apps for those destination lights where we were going to do the more expensive installation where we have the actual breakaway poles and stuff, instead of where we had some where we had breakaway poles that we were going to try and get this TSIP money for, and then we had a bunch that we were just going to use local funds because we could get by with the wooden pole because we had enough clear zone. We met the clear zone. So when we got into this, as part of doing the application, you have to review the 5-year crash history. So this is a benefit cost. So if we don't have crashes, our BC is 0, which doesn't rate very well. So once we got into it, we ended up looking at the crash history for all the sites we need to put lights up on. And even if we had a wooden pole situation where we had the clear zone, but it had crash history, so we made an application for those, and we're going to switch to the breakaway pole and then anything we have to pay for locally, we'll pay for locally. But so basically, long story short, we're applying for a lot more than we originally thought, because we know there's some applications in here where the BC is less than 1, which probably will not get funded. And then we have some where it's over 1, and some of those were the wooden pole sites, but they had the crash history. So we're going to apply for the breakaway poles at those sites.
So we need some crash history on some of these things.
Might go wreck there.
For this,
That's not doing damage.
this site-specific spot-funded programs, it is what, I mean, not trying to be gruesome about it, but it is a blood on the pavement program, meaning it chases crashes. It looks where you have crashes, and you're supposed to fix them for site improvements.
So maybe, and I don't know that for sure, I think with this all started maybe before you guys were here, is that correct?
Yeah.
So maybe just an update of how many intersections, if you remember off the top of your head, and how it all kind of come about that. And some intersections had destination lighting, some did not, and it just wasn't consistent. No.
I think we talked about it kind of towards the end of
Yeah, I
last
think you're
year,
right. Yeah.
because I remember watching a meeting.
So we got a request to put up destination lighting. And so we kind of went back and looked at what we had, because we were going to do a policy, right? That was the deal. We were going to try and treat all these requests the same. And we looked at the intersections, ADT, and all these things. And we found out that we had one of the very lowest ADT paved roads had a light on it. And you had all these, I think there were 17 other ones. Don't quote me on that, but that didn't have lights, that had even more traffic entering at each leg of the intersection. So we're like, there isn't, I mean, you can't set a policy that says we're going to have, you got to have, 500 total ADT at each leg to really be the threshold to put up a destination light when you already had one at a location that was well below that. So the policy was, we decided that we were gonna put any paved road, I believe any paved road intersection is gonna be warrants light, so a destination lane. So long story short, we went out, looked at the clear zone, each one, decided which ones we could put a wood pole up because it was far enough away from the clear zone that we had enough clear zone, and the ones where we couldn't put that, we were gonna try and get TSIP money because those installations are more expensive because the pole is breakaway. So that's your long story short.
And if I'm correct, you're applying for more TSIP money, is that?
More locations, yeah. So we know there's locations in here probably that won't get funded because the BP's benefit cost is not sufficient, yeah.
So you're looking for a motion to approve the applications?
Yeah, so motion to approve the chair to sign, each application has to be signed by the chair.
I'll make that.
So move. I'll second.
Hope your wrist is, you got a lot of signing.
How many days we got to sign in? Have a motion, a second to approve the TSIP applications as destination lighting as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, and one last thing, you had asked me to look at the noxious weed control resolution. So I did, and kind of reviewed that with chapter 317 of the code. What I would suggest is you do this every year. You do this resolution every year, it looks like. I would suggest that when we get ready to do this, we have a work session with conservation, with the county attorney, and decide if, because there's some things in here, I don't know a lot. You put the onus of weed control on the adjacent property owner in the right of way for weeds in the right of way, and I don't know the actual legality of that. I think I mean, the code is, the way I've read the code, I mean, you guys can issue permits to adjacent property owners to spray weeds in the county right of way, which to me, that doesn't make sense, but there's another section in the code that says the board shall control weeds on roads under their jurisdiction. So it like puts the onus on you to control the weeds, and then by resolution, you put the onus on the adjacent property owner, and I don't know the legality of that. So for now, I would just say when we go to review this for next year, we have like a work session and work through that and see if there's things that need to change. Maybe you don't need to change anything, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, I know this has been in place for years and years, long before me, and maybe long before I was born, I'm not sure, but I know we've changed it several times in the past 3 or 4 years. But honestly, traveling some of these roads, it seems to be working really well. That people are taking responsibility, you know, and they're waiting till July 15th, whenever the mow date is, and there's a lot of them getting mowed up right now.
They're supposed to take care of brush too.
I see it. That was purposely put in there at one time.
Yeah. So the code 317 changed, I believe, in July of 2018. So there was a major change to the code section in 2018.
And brush is pretty vague.
Anything that's not grass. All right, so that's really all I have. I would just recommend that when you guys do your normal resolution, you probably revisit it. And maybe you don't need to change anything. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think you need to do anything now.
Appreciate you taking a look at it. Any other updates that we need to know, or I know I met with a few landowners and assistant engineer and a couple of leads, and I think everything worked out fine.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be talking to Mike this morning. We're gonna be driving pile out at the bridge. So
I did visit the site, and the equipment was set up. I didn't go in there, of course, but
I met at the shop earlier this morning. When we do these site visits for the risk management safety committee, there's things that we find that we need to tweak or whatever. And one of the things is we have petroleum products that we store that we should probably have them on like a spill pallet. So we're going to be buying some spill pallets to put out there. One of the things, the shop, probably the main shop in Macoka has the most storage, and we need to do a little bit of tweaking there, but that's what I was talking to him about. So
I just wanted to inform the board, and yesterday Todd and I exchanged emails. We did come up with an agreement for the 308th Street project, and we have our first signature.
Nice.
Yeah, so we've received our first payment.
Okay.
So the process has started.
So that's if they want to pay in the 10 equal
right.
Yeah.
So like we said, and I had a few questions about this, like we said last week, right? This clock started ticking last week, correct?
August 21st.
That was
Okay.
right. That in the agreement, I did not count the first day, then I counted 20 days, which would be August 21st. So we're allowing people until August 21st to come in and sign the agreement, make their first payment. They come into the auditor's office and sign the agreement, and then I take them down to the treasurer's office so they can make their first payment and to get a receipt and to get on this schedule. I know that in visiting with Beth yesterday, she was trying to set up the accounting side of these payments. And hopefully, and I don't know, I hadn't talked to her as of late yesterday afternoon, and hopefully to come up with a payment schedule and what that payment's gonna be.
Yeah, so some people, that's if you choose, you can obviously still pay it in full, but you have to do that. If you pay it in full, like you don't pay any interest and you have to do it the same
First
day.
20 days.
Yeah. We sent out a second notification letter. There was some confusion. We ended up sending out a second, and I just emailed Terry Beek about this. A second letter went out to the people that didn't pick up the first letter from the post office. But the intent was to send the second letter to everybody. So the second letter is going to be mailed to the other whatever number of people that didn't get the second letter, because Stacy thought I meant send it to the people that didn't get the first letter, but really that second letter should have went to everybody. So anyway, that's going to get handled. And I emailed a copy of the letter to Terry, so I think he was going to maybe print it out and like walk it around to people too.
So it's also the same time frame to contest it.
That's 15 days.
15 days,
And that would be until.
something like that. And they can't contest the fact that the secondary road assessment district was established. All they can contest is their assessment amount.
Right. So, okay. Just so they're aware, everyone's aware. Appreciate it, Todd.
All right, thanks.
All right, have a good day.
Too.
Are there any visitors or citizens online or present that would like to address the board? Seeing or hearing none. Mr. Matt Specht is with us today from ECIA, Community and Development Director. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Beautiful day.
It is. It's not too hot.
Oh.
A couple weeks ago. So Jackson County Revolving Loan Committee met last week to discuss Midwest Legacy Beef. Currently they're purchasing and selling bulk dog food. They want to get into the business of packaging it into smaller type quantities so they can actually get out and reach the individual user, the end user. So they requested a $250,000 loan from the Jackson County Revolving Loan Fund to help buy this equipment. The request is for $250,000, 10 years, interest rate at 6%. The borrowers are putting in about 18%, so about $53,500. Again, we'll take a first security interest on the equipment being purchased, and then we will also require personal guarantee of the three owners, Jason Haynes, Danny Smith, and Troy Sieverding. Questions, comments?
The first part of this is just to recommend or approve the loan request. Is that correct?
Correct.
And normally when we approve these, I mean, we do ask or say, I know when with the flower shop and stuff, you know, we talked about jobs. I mean, that's the way this kind of this go.
Yeah, and this one they're telling us about 3. So
yeah, he told me somewhere from 3 to 6. So good number. Small project.
I'll second that.
Motion and second approve the recommendation for the loan request for Midwest Legacy Beef as presented. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You're still up.
I think the next part's just the purchase or the transfer agreement. Yeah, that's just the standard to transfer.
I guess the question was, I don't know if you disclosed all the terms of it. Did you disclose the interest?
Yeah, so 10 years, 6%.
Okay. Which is a nice number too.
So moved.
Second that.
Motion and second to approve the transfer agreement from a revolving loan fund to Midwest Legacy Beef as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Little nice road trip, huh?
That's for a Tuesday.
Nice little drive. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Lana.
Have a good one.
All right, so we are scheduled at 9:30 to open the bids. Can we do that, or do we need to do something else first? The bids were due.
I would wait till 9:30 because that's when we advertise that we would be in case anybody wants to come on Zoom.
Yep. And Lisa, or are you?
Sure, I can do it real quick, like. So this morning I need a motion to approve the minutes of the August 1st, 2023 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorize publication in the official newspapers.
Second.
The motion and second approve the minutes of the August 1st, 2023 board proceedings as written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I need a motion to accept and authorize the chair's signature on the county recorder's fees for the month of July 2023 in the amount of $53,201.64.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
The motion and second to remove and place on file the authorized chair's signature on the county recorder's report of fees collected for the month of July 2023. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
It is under my portion of the agenda that was published concerning the opioid settlement funds, but I think Julie is here and I think she should do this.
Okay, so I know I have an email, but I don't have that email printed, right? For the proposals.
I was out of the office unexpectedly Friday, so I apologize that you didn't get these on Friday. It's my fault.
We got them yesterday, right?
Yep. So the first.
Good morning, Julie.
Good morning. The first request is for the evidence-based curriculum for the students. The number did go up a little. Bellevue completed registration and they were up in students. So we added 2 more packs of the student manuals for the Bellevue curriculum, which is the life skills. The total request for Macokota Middle School students and the Bellevue 9th and 10th graders is $3,745. The schools would purchase and bill it back to the county for the funds.
I'm sorry, Julie, what was it? 3,001?
$745.
And no cents?
No cents.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the opioid settlement dollars to the evidence-based programming as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
The second one is from the sheriff's office. It's as presented by Chief Deputy Crocker at the last 2 work sessions. It is for duty gloves that are needle and bite resistant. I think it's 20. How many pair?
It is.
Well, they're itemized out by size on the second page. 47,
It's almost
55,
50 pairs, yeah.
55, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like this.
And that does cover, as you see, the entire county, not just the jail. And the total.
Right, I mean, we're covering Jackson County Sheriff's Office, Jackson County Jail, Jackson County Conservation, Bellevue Police Department, Macokota Police Department, Preston Police Department, and City of Liberty.
Correct.
So
So
moved.
Thank you.
The amount for that, Lisa, is $2,282.37.
What we will be requesting from Chief Deputy Crocker is, so what you're doing today is approving the funding. And I will be visiting with everybody concerning how we're going to get this paid. In visiting with Shelley yesterday, we're gonna have to set up some line items within the opioid settlement fund so we can correctly pay for these out of the correct line item.
Do we gotta have categories in that somehow, or, yeah?
Actually, the state has weighed in on this, so we have to coordinate what is in the Schedule A and Schedule B and put that over into what the state, how the state wants us to pay these for auditing purposes.
So will they be the final categorization process, or will they say yeah or nay?
They will not say yea or nay. That is what you're doing today is you are approving the funding
Right.
of these funds. And then it'll be, as things come in, we still need to be categorized. This actually came in under B 1.1 and 1.2. Some of this came in as A2, G2. So what we're gonna do is take the same information that they're giving us, and then we're gonna transfer it over to how the state wants us to report it.
Okay. So you're just gonna, how do you decide how much funds you're gonna have the primary fund, and then you're gonna slowly allocate over to the G2 fund or
Well,
the
this
B2 fund or what?
That's the tricky part, and that's what we're gonna work on. So really what's gonna happen here is that you're approving the funding today on the gloves, as an example. I will be talking to Chief Crocker. He will order the gloves. It will be up to him to distribute the gloves. He'll submit a payment or a bill to us because we need invoices. That's important. We need invoices to prove how we've paid and what we paid for and how we paid it.
So Julie indicated that the school was gonna pay it, we reimburse. So will the sheriff's department pay and we reimburse, or will we pay the?
So what, in my opinion, what will happen, let's talk about the gloves. We'll talk about that. So they will purchase the gloves through a company, and then they will send us the bill. So at the time, I'm sure they're gonna probably use a credit card. They'll use their sheriff's office credit card to buy these gloves, and then we will pay it through the claims process. So we're not gonna pay it ahead of time. We have to get the invoice first to pay for the supplies.
Yeah.
Just like Bellevue Schools, we need an invoice. We need to know how, what did they buy? What was the cost?
Sure, absolutely.
So yes, we need that accounting on it.
Yeah.
And just because I know Julie's gonna ask for this next, in my research yesterday to prepare for today's meeting. It's a little bit, and I know that you're gonna ask for next is the Narcan.
The naloxone.
Yeah.
We're using the generic, but yes.
Okay, but what I'm a little bit confused about is that that's part of the TIVA settlement. I'm gonna read something.
Okay, so can we finish just what I have on the table? I have a motion.
I'll second that. Well,
I have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the needle resistant church and duty gloves as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right.
Okay, so this is, and I don't, this is only going off of something that, I haven't, but part of the TIVA settlement says 240 million. Under the TIVA settlement, TIVA will offer up to 1.2 billion of TIVA's generic version of the overdose reversal drug Narcan, or alternatively provide cash at 20% of the 1.2 billion wholesale acquisition cost in lieu of product.
I don't know what TIVA is. I've never seen it, so I have no idea.
So that's the question is.
Okay, so we talked about it last week that we're not gonna double overlay this thing and pay something that's available. And I think Mr. Osterhaus stated that also, that maybe there wasn't some of these funds available. I'm gonna make sure that we're gonna pay for something that readily available to us.
so that we should be, if we're looking at getting Narcan or the generic,
Naloxone.
we should be seeing if we can get it through this TIVA then.
Well, that's my question. Before we expend funds and we're doubling up like you said, Mike, that would be my only concern. The other question that I think I anticipated that we were going to ask is how much? And in looking at different settlements, we talked last week, $423,827.96. And that does not include what I call the last 5 settlements. And I cannot find anywhere how much money that is. So there's still some more coming, these 5. Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, TIVA, and Allergen, I think.
So with that being said, Julie, is fair to say that you would investigate this a little bit and say, yeah, we have the possibility of maybe getting this, or see what this TIVA is, or who does
Look at
that?
it. I have nothing, so I don't know where to start. If I can get some information, we can look at it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know where to start either, but
Lisa.
unless the medical field, be it the hospital or Lynn or EMA or.
Or even the pharmacy.
Or even, yeah, or Matt. Or even,
I just read that in all the
when
reading.
their new medical director start?
14.
Let's just throw it right on.
What settlement, T-bill?
This was Teva,
How do you spell?
TEVA.
Have they settled? I thought that, because you said you haven't received anything from
It's
them.
one of the 5. I think what they're doing is that we had to have all of our paperwork signed in April to say that we would participate. And I think they're probably waiting to see who all is participating and who is not. And I have received nothing from any source, either through Iowa State Association of Counties or through the opioid settlement funds. I also deal with the attorneys that has dealt with this settlement, and I've received nothing. Just as a point though, we did just receive more money. We received another 15,000.
So I guess
right now,
along
we
with
have
that,
about 100 in the fund. We have $110,160.10.
I guess along with that, 2 boxes of this, I have no idea what that is or how many that treats, or what we average go through in Jackson County in, let's say, a month or 6 months or quarter. Because as I hear it, there is an expiration date on this.
About, the shelf life is about 18 months.
18 months, okay. And what's our average that we go through in a quarter?
Countywide, the sheriff's office, who are you asking about?
Absolutely, this is countywide to me, yeah.
Well,
Because
with this request, this is going to the pharmacy only.
To cover people whose insurance, it's a request to Matt Osterhaus. I don't think this is a surprise of anyone.
Right.
That people come in and the copay is actually more than the cost of the product. At like $115, and so they're not getting it. So a 2-dose box, so most people 1 dose doesn't quite do it. You need the second, that's why they box it in 2 doses. It's just a little box with 2 nasal sprays in it is the $75 box. Your EMTs and stuff, they tend to titrate it. They don't use generally the nasal sprays so that they can, instead of giving multiple nasal sprays, they just titrate is what Ryan told me while he was still here. And I realized he's been gone a while, but that was the information I got. You do the nasal spray because he told me that usually EMTs don't because they want to control how much. That was what Ryan told me when I asked how much we were using.
I guess my next question is, are these the only 2 pharmacies in Jackson County?
We have both in our.
Walmart, it's all corporate. They can't make any decisions or do anything. It's not that Leanne and her staff are not willing, but they are controlled by Bentonville, Arkansas. So this covers both Hardings. It says both Hardings, so Bellevue and Preston and Osterhaus. But we do have 4 pharmacies. But Walmart can't do anything off of what corporate tells them. Not that we don't want to include them. They just can't.
Other questions, concerns, comments?
Well,
Yes, I would like to see if we have other funding that we can get it through first.
Can I just suggest we do 1 or 2? So in the meantime, we don't have somebody dying because we're trying to figure out the Teva thing. Just a suggestion.
How are we gonna get invoiced?
The Osterhouses or someone would buy it and they would, Matt will, he'll be happy to invoice you.
But we wouldn't be getting, if I'm understanding this right, we wouldn't be getting invoiced when it goes out to the patient. The
No.
pharmacist is gonna invoice us to have it on their shelf.
Yes.
To be able to distribute.
So when somebody comes in, they can give it to them as needed versus come back in a day or 2 days or whatever.
So this is just a partial cost of this medication. So we will not have any documentation of, I guess that would be private anyway, of who or what or how or. Yeah.
For the people who fall.
So he is distributing, actually, both pharmacies are distributing it now. They're just not getting paid fully, correct?
They're distributing it when people pay for it. So if there's people. who
Have
don't
we had any
qualify-
opioid deaths that we know of? I don't, but maybe.
We have,
Again, that could be confidential information.
we have. And we've had naloxone be used by both private citizens and law enforcement, and obviously your EMTs.
I use
My
it.
question
If you
is,
push it too fast, it makes.
It's a whole nother problem, but yeah.
my question is, this is a stocked item for all of the pharmacies in Jackson County. This, to me, I have hesitation buying something that has an expiration that's gonna be on the shelf anyway. As much as I'd be like, I would be more in favor of saying, we would do a reimbursement, like if they had a said case come through and it was prescribed under such circumstances, we would reimburse through the opioid settlement, but I don't necessarily like buying 15 boxes. And then they expire in 18 months.
So we were trying to do a year at a time, and so up to, and they would bill as it go, this would be a yearly. Or do you want us to come every time they use one and ask for?
To me, that's more gets to be the accounting issue, whether it's a one-time thing and it gets thrown away, or as it goes out, there is a bill sent and we can, that to me is the logistical thing that would be more accountable.
Kind of, you're saying we would approve up to this amount for them to submit invoices to.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want them just to go out and buy 15 boxes because it might all go to waste. Plus, it's a stocked item anyway. So I don't think we need to buy extra. They have stocked items. How about we approve if there's a situation where somebody can't, the copay, they can't afford it, it goes out, then we reimburse for what went out, so we don't ever pay for something that expired.
So then do you approve an amount for the year up to, like, Nin suggested, or do we need to come in and then ask for it? That's what I guess I'm not sure. That's
So the better question then is, if you, let's say we talk about the 15 boxes of what they're requesting. My question would be is, are you allocating 5 to each pharmacy? Or what happens if Osterhouse needs 10 and Preston needs 1? And so that's the better question. How do you want to allocate? That's a good point.
And the thing is, the same way as I said was, of course, there's confidential information. We can't say who, but we used this and for this situation, we used it and we used it up. Now we need another 2 sets of Preston needs 2 more sets, or
right.
Or yeah, what happens if we allocate this amount, this for the 15 boxes, and Osterhouse goes through 14 boxes of it, and now Preston's going through another 5.
Then we come back and ask for additional funding based on the need.
I guess just knowing that the TIVA settlement, trying to figure out what that would be, how long it would take before we could get said funds and all that stuff, which again would then result to just buying boxes to sit on the shelf and possibly expire, because almost those have to be almost set aside. You can't, you know what I mean? When they're pre-purchased, so to speak, they have to maintain that stock.
So it would be a billing back is going to be your best solution.
Yeah.
But just so they know that there's this money approved, and if they dispense it, that they'll get reimbursed, I think is what.
And I think we could dispense it maybe quarterly, where like every 3 months. So it isn't just one.
To look at the numbers.
Yeah, but I would be more apt to approve like the funding for 4 boxes, which is a third, and while we investigate the TIVA settlement.
That's a good start.
And then figure out where if there's finances somewhere else, we don't need to use this, the $75 a box.
Before it'd be $300.
$300, to give us, that way if something happens, we got a little coverage until we figure out to speak of this settlement. And to me, it's almost like a first come, first serve kind of thing. So you're not allocating 1 to 1 to 1, that would be my motion.
And are we making this?
As long as you're okay with the accounting of that.
No, I think that makes sense. The main thing is that when a pharmacy dispenses, they just send us the bill for $75. And you're approving up to 4 boxes, if I assume correctly now. And we'll just keep that running total, knowing that you've approved 4. And when we get to that 5th box, we'll have to come back for
the TIVA settlement, we can fund it some other way. But this would be a fill in a gap right now. Until we figure out the. TV
And
setup.
we're still expecting these pharmacies though to try to run this through the person's insurance first,
Yes,
not just that it's an
This
automatic,
is a last resort.
automatic hand.
it's a gap filler.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd second that motion.
So the request was for 4, correct?
Or about it.
The motion.
The motion was for 4.
Okay. I
Or
have
2
a,
dose boxes.
I have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of
The
4.
reimbursement.
Approve the reimbursement for up to 4 boxes of naloxone, as presented. All those in favor?
Are you okay with that, Lisa?
Yeah, I am. Yep.
Is
that's
that, is
perfect.
that enough said for the motion?
Nope, I'm
I
good.
mean, we know that we need to have accountability for it, per se, if that's how you want to put it. For further discussion, that's we're having further discussion.
Yeah.
We have to have accountability that it was used. Of course, we can't say from who, of course, there's a lot of information, but we know there's a need if it presents itself again.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carried.
We're gonna be weeding our way through this stuff for a while.
Yeah, we are, and I would appreciate it if you could get a hold of medical field or somebody, maybe do a little investigating on this, Eva.
Did she get a copy of your sheet or whatever you got from the TV settlement? So maybe,
At the starting point and then go digging. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You do it.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, since we're at least at 9:30, we will open the bids for the law enforcement solar array project. Want to come forward? You want to stay there?
If she wants my assistance, I'm happy to come forward. It'll be up to you guys.
We did receive three proposals.
That met the deadline?
We sent, yeah, that we sent out. I know I did receive word back from the last individual that you, okay, okay, all right. So this proposal is from ECG Solar.
And this is with the understanding, we went over the proposals, bid threshold type requirements was a little vague the last time for some of the bidders, maybe.
Not so much vague as restrictive. They felt like they weren't allowed enough flexibility to meet our needs.
Okay.
I don't really know much about solar and I don't know much about this bid. So in looking in ECG Solars for the base bid options, they've got it as PT or the Premier Tier 1 package. $84,679 gross cost, providing 38% offset from the grid for a $59,275 net cost.
I'd have to see that.
Okay.
How that works.
Otherwise, they talk about the standard Tier 1 package of $79,729 gross cost, providing a 26% offset
Okay.
from the grid for a net cost of $55,810.
Okay. Can I see that?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I guess my thought process is to open the bids and we're probably gonna have to review them, that we got apples to apples before I'm signing anything today.
Next week.
Next.
So this is the cover sheet from Blue Sky Solar. The proposal details is the system size of the 41 kilowatt. The price is $81,689.92 or $1.99 price per watt. I don't know if there's any other offset or anything like
That,
that.
I'm familiar with that bid somewhat.
Okay.
And that would, there's a 30% that would come off the top of that. So that's.
24,000, so you're back down to 55, somewhere in that range. 50.
This other one, I'm not sure if they include the 30%, which is what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, they did some kind of a reduction there.
Well, but that was their estimate of the utility offset, which is different.
And ECG is out of where?
Anamosa,
And Blue Sky?
Dubuque.
I think I had the same couple last time.
That one, the company.
This is from Midwest Solar and Dollars.
Eagle Point and Blue Sky, did they change hands or no? Eagle?
Blue Sky did. Yeah, they're part of the AG Electric.
Oh, yes, AG got, yeah.
I'm thinking that Midwest Solar Installers proposal is for $107,272.
I'm sorry, what was that amount?
$107,272. Does this, Bruce, does this look about? Where are they?
Yep. That's from Midwest Solar. So their estimate is 107. That includes the incentives being taken off of that. So the net or the gross would have been 107,000. Net payment 107, total incentive. Net payment 75,000 for Midwest Solar.
Oh, I missed that.
Yep.
Okay.
ECG net payment $59,275.30. Blue Sky.
And that, the ECG one, was that for the premium?
That was
For the premium, because there was a premium, not a standard.
Sub base one or
P1.
something, base one or.
PG1 and a standard.
I guess I need somebody telling me that we're gonna get the same everybody's bidding the same kilowatts or watts or kilograms or something. What?
yeah.
Then
They're about the same. They're in the same range.
Okay.
Between 40, 41.
I mean, I gotta compare apples to apples if I'm gonna approve one or the other.
So
You need a calculator?
I do.
Yeah, well,
The net here is 81,689, and I need to take 30% off of that.
89 times
That minus,
30% off.
Minus 30% of that, yeah.
57,182.30.
So 57,182.30 would be Blue Skies. ECGs is 59,275. And then Midwest is 75,090. So Midwest would be the least competitive. These other two are very close. I think we want to take a much closer look at each of those and make sure that we are comparing them exactly correctly.
so maybe could we have a motion to review the proposals and come back a recommendation in a week?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have
I'm much more encouraged over these.
Much better.
yeah, well, sticker shock ain't quite, you know. So I have a motion and a second to review the proposals as presented and come back with a recommendation at our next regular meeting on, what is today?
Today's the 8th.
Oh my
We have a
goodness.
date in the RFP that indicated
15th.
when the decision was made. Is that next Tuesday?
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, Bruce, I appreciate it. And if you review that and there's any questions, you can get with each any one of us and we need to have a special meeting, we can. I will plan to come back with a recommendation. We will look forward to it.
Thank you. I will do that. And I'll consult with Lisa before that.
The only thing I'll need for minutes is the net price on these bids. And would, you know what, I'll just call you.
Let me make sure I give you the exact right numbers.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
will talk to you later today or
Yes,
something.
thank you. I would appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks for staying on the journey, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, Luann,
Yes.
are you available? Is Lori on deck?
Did you call Lori already or?
I have not.
Maybe let her know we'll be ready shortly. Or I can. He's on the phone.
Hi, Ruth, it's Sue Ann. We're gonna be ready for Lori early.
No, we're Oh, not ready.
No. It's not too late.
Good morning.
Good morning. That part will be short this morning. All right, at 11 o'clock this morning, the plan is to go out to the care facility for a work session for any and all of you that want to do that. 4 o'clock this afternoon is a Maquoketa River Watershed Management Authority Executive Committee meeting by Zoom for Don. Tomorrow, Wednesday, August 9th at 9 a.m. Nin's turn to be on KBQ's Just Talk. And at 4:15 is the Veterans Affairs Committee with the Home Base Iowa meeting for any of you that want to attend that. I sent an email about it. Jason's going to be here.
Yep.
So any of you that want to attend that. Thursday, August 10th at noon is a Jackson County Area Tourism Association meeting by Zoom for any of you that want to do that. And at 1 o'clock is a Grantwood Scenic Byway meeting in Bellevue for NIN. I think they're meeting at the brewery. Yep. Friday, August 11th at 9 a.m. is an IRIS special meeting by Zoom for NIN.
There's only one item on the agenda, correct?
Monday, August 14th at 7:30 a.m. is Early Childhood Iowa's Executive Committee meeting by Zoom for NIN if she chooses to attend that. Our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, August 15th. Slow for Mike there to get that, and at 2 o'clock that afternoon is a Mississippi Valley Workforce CEO meeting by Zoom for Don. That's all I have for you this morning.
I don't know if it needs to be on the schedule, but this Thursday at 11 o'clock, I have a Mississippi Valley Workforce Business Committee meeting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, well, thank you. Lori, are you available?
I am.
So Lori Whirling from Jackson County Zoning Administrator is with us today to give us a department update.
Ruth will be in just a second.
Good morning.
Hi, guys. How's it going? And then, but your guys.
Guys.
Okay. So anyway, let's talk about the comprehensive plan first, if that's okay, since it's on the top, and it'll be the easiest one to talk about. So anyway, we got our results back today. ECIA is keeping us up to date about how many surveys have come back. And it's 36, which isn't great in my opinion. We launched 2 weeks ago, so 14 days. I say 36. We have 6 in our office that need to be handed in, so that's 42. So we're averaging about 3 a day, which isn't going to get us to our goals. So we are stepping things up. I do have a meeting with an organization tonight that wanted information. I'm going to go to the Maquoketa area art experience tomorrow for coffee and chats to try to talk to people there. I have got to Maquoketa, Miles, Preston, Sabula, and Andrew about getting on their agendas for, and I said, if I didn't say Bellevue, I should have, to get on their agendas for city council meetings to speak there to their council, but also those are recorded events. So there will be people that will be listening, and hopefully we can get that website out to them so that they can participate in the survey. So we also have cards for you guys that have information about how to take the survey. The QR code is active. All they have to do is scan that QR code. If they're not QR friendly type of people, the website is on the bottom of that card.
I met with Quan last Thursday. We talked about it, and I sent them to the county website because there's also a link off the county website.
There is, yeah. So we've had 36 surveys done online to date. So it was 26 as of last Friday. Excuse me, a week ago Monday. So last Monday. So we haven't seen a big uptick. So I just know we have to get more aggressive.
We got any flyers out
We
in
do
businesses?
some, but not a lot yet.
Has it been in the paper yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my question
Thank you, thank you.
is our steering committee, are we gonna talk about that, or we're not necessarily set with our committee yet?
I've reached out to most of them, and I know you guys had certain ones that you were gonna reach out to.
Can we
So
go through them or no?
I didn't bring my list, but we're more than
We
welcome
had the
to.
same list that you gave me last week.
Okay, so,
So
I
the
can tell
ones
you-
I was to reach out to, Patricia Weinshank, and she's a yes.
okay,
Curtis Johnson, Stabila area is a yes.
okay,
Stevie Nimmers is a yes.
okay,
Mike Burke, Bernard area is a yes.
okay,
Lori Martins does not have time, and her husband Jody was my second thought, and she said good choice, and he said I don't have time either.
okay.
So we may be lacking in the St. Ignatius area, maybe if we could come up with somebody.
Who to do more?
Carrie,
Don, but they live in Dubuque County,
yeah,
not that matters to me.
I would say, when you're talking about expansion of Jackson County, and you look at somebody that's done a major renovation and.
Or is there somebody from
investment in
Kansas?
Jackson
Yeah.
County?
we got them, we got Pee Wee, Barb, Lori. That would all be kind of tight, you know,
I
but
just
you're
think
right,
we
but
need
Carrie's done,
somebody
they've
from
done
the
an amazing
area,
job.
yeah.
Yeah, and see, I didn't bring my list for that. I just got off the phone when the phone was ringing and had to grab and run and didn't quite get everything I needed.
Even
You were gonna
if we
touch base
reach
with
out
Toby, he's
to
been-
somebody up there, maybe they have a better even recommendation than what we can
Yeah.
pull out of our hat.
Because we do have some northeast representation, but mostly more towards that Lamont and Bellevue. Area.
Also, Matt Wagner is a yes also from Lamont, he's a
Okay.
Lamont mayor.
All right.
You were gonna touch base with Toby.
Yeah, Toby is a yes. Go ahead and read down your list and I'll tell you who I contacted.
Well, we talked about either Nancy or Travis Kiefer.
Travis is a yes.
Okay. I got Teresa, and then I have, we talked about Tom Roth, but we have representation, good representation from Bellevue.
Mhm.
Curtis Johnson is a yes from, and Kelly Connor said she did not have time. But you were gonna talk to the Segula owners of the harbor.
I didn't have that on my list.
She was a yes.
Okay, so that was, your was a yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and I do need those people's contact information if they could. We're putting together a phone list and an email list. Our choice, our preferred choice of contact to those people are going to be emails, of course. So when we're setting up our meeting, we can do it in one.
I can
swift
get
swoop.
you all the people that I talked to said, yes, I can get you emails and.
That would be
Yeah,
nice.
I will
Thank
do
you.
that.
Okay.
And you said Gene Hayes from the
Yeah.
hospital, correct?
Yeah, Nick got her.
And you said Kelly, you didn't know, well, you wanna call it Cornelius? or-
No, I don't. Kelly Cornelius has not responded back, so I am assuming that means no. I've reached out to her twice.
Okay, so are we
Okay,
gonna
check
touch
with
base with
Oh,
either?
you're gonna reach out to her?
I'm gonna try to check.
Okay,
Yeah, okay, do that.
all right.
And then, or we consider Chuck or Chris or Charlie Peters or somebody in that area over that way. Jade Checkle was a yes. He
Yes.
assumed that he had to.
Yep. Hey, it works.
Jess Wagner from Conservation was a yes.
Yes.
Dave Manning was a yes. Joe Kilberg was a yes. Steve Kaler was a yes. Scott Gent was a yes. And Patricia Larson, you said was a yes.
Lawson, yeah.
Lawson.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just need those contact information from the people that you guys
I
have reached
will,
out
I
to.
will send you an email.
I text you her information.
You did? Oh, on my work phone? I'll look
The
at it.
one I got, I don't know which one that,
Probably work.
okay.
So I will look, and that was Patricia Lawson.
Mhm.
Okay,
And are you okay if I text that also with an email and a text and
yes,
we
sir.
have a
Yeah.
track of it?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I guess, when we talk about going forward, I think, again, with ECIA and the committee, we should probably set a meeting and say, here, how many more do we need, or input? Again, I think Preston, Bellevue, Macocata did this without 50 people being there, so.
And right now, I think we were down, like in that 15 to 18 range. So I think we probably have decent representation.
We've covered a lot of areas
Yeah.
Mhm,
geographically.
we did. I think we did too. But yeah, and so I think the goal right now is to try to set something up for September, according to the calendar that we have.
Well, that's not too far away.
Right, right. So I don't know which part of September Laura was leaning for,
Well,
but
I know Steve said he was gonna be gone for his brother's wedding for somewhere. I must be going destination for a week or so. Not that everybody's gonna be there either, I suppose, for all of them, but
okay,
Well, that can be worked out.
okay. All right,
he's gone
so,
from the 18th, the week of the 18th of September. He's
Okay.
Whatever.
okay. So I will get that information, basically that we're ready to go with our steering committee.
Yes.
Okay, so, we were talking,
Are you gonna consider reaching out then to somebody in the St. Connecticut area? I mean, I don't know if Jim Rowley would have a suggestion either, you know, he's been the mayor, he's on the Waste Authority.
I'm gonna reach out to Jim. He might be a good person to reach out to. He seems to,
And
You know.
he probably has time, yeah.
okay,
I mean, you want to follow well rounded.
okay. Yeah, how about, I'll ask him. You got that on there? Okay. All right, so we were talking about the,
Or even the lady up at the bed and breakfast.
I don't know where you're
Up at
talking.
the old Frost House. She's given a couple different presentations to us and really, what's it called, orange something? Yeah, is it?
I'll see,
See what Jim says once.
yeah, okay, I'll get him first and
Yeah.
then I'll have, okay. All right, so. I don't know where I was on the comprehensive plan part of it when you had started talking about the steering committee, but our goal for the surveys is 810, or excuse me, 820, for the fact that we have 8,183 households in Jackson County. So a good sampling, a good number, a goal number would be 10% of those households. So 820 surveys would be a good number to get. The minimum to be statistically relevant, which is one of our new buzzwords, is going to be 400. So
Good luck.
yeah, well, you know, we're working on it. We're trying to avoid luck, and we actually have calendars made out of different events going on in the county. And even when this woman goes for her evening walk, she wears her Jackson County Comprehensive Plan t-shirt.
Sign up sheet on your
Just
back.
in case.
Yeah.
We did talk about that. We did talk about a QR code for the back of our shirts. So, but yeah, so we do have a list of different events on whatever nights, and then we are keeping a tally of where we did make contacts. So the fair, we handed out 200, for the parade rather, we handed out 200 business cards, took surveys to the booths, and then I got to talk to a very small group of people at the Bill Bradley Talent Show, KMAQ last Thursday. So we are working on it. And like I mentioned, city council meetings, and then I'm also working on trying to get to different organizations that have noon meetings or whatever, which reminded me of one too.
Okay, well, we'll keep working at it.
Okay. Then on to nuisance enforcement in Leisure Lake. So we have 5 requests for extensions and reconsideration.
I'm gonna make a request.
I second.
So we have a stack of these and we have a stack of them and I got a pile of them. There's such a thing as a spreadsheet to say, these were sent out, these are got improvement, these have got a 30-day extension. This got a 30, this is on hold, something that we can look at one sheet and say, Well, we give them, because we're gonna ask the same question. When you give us a name, did we give them one already? What's the process, I guess? I have a hard time going back and looking, geez, what did we do here?
Yeah, and we do actually have a spreadsheet.
Okay,
Our spreadsheet is ugly. Really ugly. We could condense it down and we.
well, I mean,
hide
this
some
to say,
columns
you
and-
know, we sent them one. They complied to it.
And that's narrowed down. That was kind of cleaned up.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we just take those specific requests and have that on your spreadsheet. How's that?
That would be great.
For next week, which I'm sure you'll see us. I think Luann's even preemptively kept us on
Something
the
like that.
agenda.
Said, if it's color coded to say, yeah, they were given it, they are complying. This one was given extension, a different color, it'd be great.
Well, I'm wondering if we can't put it on OneDrive and you guys have a link to it, so that way every time I update it, you could just
Oh, yeah,
see it automatically update instead of having to send a different spreadsheet.
you decide how you
But
want.
that would be the whole.
That's our request anyway.
Yeah.
You just get a link and look in. There it is.
Okay, let's go down through them.
All right.
Okay, so, I'm gonna bypass Burkhart Cornish for right now, because it's gonna tie in with our last one. And I'm gonna say the last one for last, because it's gonna be the longest.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so Dalsing and
Or do
Ehlers,
we want to do it first because he's here and we
Well,
don't want to waste his time?
do you wanna do that?
What do I need
Well,
to do?
Ben, we'll get to you then, so let's
Okay,
start with Mr. Bennett.
It's your call.
Okay, so let's start with Mr.
I'll be-
Bennett then. Oh, really sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Ruth's gonna trade spots with him. How's that?
Yeah,
Yep, you can-
I guess.
Okay, so,
It's front and center, but
Yeah. So,
if you could just please introduce yourself.
I'm Ben Bennett. I live at Leisure Lake.
Good morning.
Morning. Nice to meet you guys.
You said Ben, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
okay, so Ben has 6 properties up there that have all received nuisance abatements. And I'm gonna start going through them one by one. And, cause some are closer to being finished. There's one that you can have done
Yeah.
like by Friday. So anyway, 22608 Lakeshore, that's probably his biggest, one of his biggest
That's the biggest
projects.
eyesore.
So that's right along the lake in where everybody can see it. It's an old house
With a mobile home. in it.
with a mobile home that was,
Built inside of it.
so it's kind of, it's a long process, and he has made significant progress getting down that building and getting out moving out the debris as he takes it down. But this isn't a project that's gonna be done overnight. I mean, he's doing it by himself.
I do
And-
have no- that's what-
Okay, so
Well,
he's
this is what as I look at these 6 properties,
mhm,
and he had stopped and talked to me
good,
a couple of times.
okay,
And I told him, come up with a plan, stick to the plan, demonstrate progress
mhm,
with an end date.
mhm,
And as long as, I mean, when you got 6 different properties,
You take.
to me, a plan is, I'm gonna take this one this month, this one next month.
That's
And
what
that
we
way we
discussed
can slowly
yesterday.
knock it off, because. I
Why
mean,
did you change the detail?
you know, exactly, and you know, and as long as you're following that and it's demonstrable, I'm okay with it, you know, we're not gonna do blanket 1 year, 6-month extensions,
Right.
because. As we see, when notices got out, a lot of people didn't think that this was really gonna happen, so if you say, well, you got 6 months. A lot of people might wait 5 months and say, oh crap, I'm not gonna finish, you know, wait 5 months before they start.
So-
I started in November 22.
Okay, so has there been an extension on this one particularly, or one of the 6 properties?
none of these properties have requested an extension.
Okay, what kind of extension are we asking for?
To the end of September. And I don't know how you wanna, in like, so basically into September on all of them, however, knowing that it's probably not gonna all get done by the end of September.
Okay, so
Which-
my suggestion is, again, we've talked about this many times, and we said the same thing. If we give it till the end of September and we see progress,
Mhm,
then bring it back to us.
okay,
And if you have the plan like Don's asking, let's see it, and we'll check them off and say, hey, this dude's really trying. I mean, you're really trying to do something.
I got a bunch of property I'd like to get rid of.
There you go.
And I can't get rid of it, but it's a nuisance.
That's right.
To me
Well,
or
and-
you.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see, I understand a lot of these have big things on them, but also if there's little things we can do to at least start the process, you know, if we got, you know.
The process has started.
So-
And I certainly
Just-
understand if we have inclement weather and does significant damage, I would understand that, so.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have, as we discussed yesterday, I have a couple mobile homes on property that I purchased. Because there's one on Lakeshore Drive, that's right on the lake that I'm tearing down. I removed all the parent stuff out of there. And probably struck a bunch of us kids and stuff out of there. And I am using the mobile homes at this point to store furniture and old heirlooms, I guess you call it, or
Well, this is what I was, as long as the outside
yeah.
looks presentable and everything's good.
If you can't walk to it, not my problem, but if you.
Yeah, well,
Visibly
if we've had people come in and they got an old camper and they're using it for metal storage and it's dilapidated, all that stuff. No, that's not what it's intended to do. If it's a mobile home and it's full of furniture, I don't,
We can't
Me,
dictate that.
to me, yeah, it's
Well,
what's on the outside.
The furniture is kind of getting gone. I'm down to the boxes of books and and a lot of those are clear back from when I was a child.
I mean, the biggest thing would be the outside of,
Looking better, yeah.
It looks
better.
like it's abandoned. So
We're-
that's
we're
what,
looking-
of the one
we're
on
looking-
Crescent
yeah,
and the
the-
one on Collins, both need some
We're
attention.
looking for improvement.
right.
Yeah.
So if we can make them look better,
Like keep down the weeds,
Yeah.
fix the
Okay.
broken windows.
Again, I think we all understand what we're talking about. Are we talking about this particular one at this time?
He's talking Pleasant Drive for the most
Yes.
part right now.
Yeah,
So he's
talking all
jumped
six?
down.
okay, sorry.
Are we talking all six?
Well, let's break them down a little, because there's one here, Mike, that doesn't believe is a nuisance. So the one on Collins Drive, the 23508 Collins, that has a registered motorhome to a neighbor. He has a green VW that's registered
It's not
in
better.
it. Pardon me?
The green W is not there.
Oh, you told me it was. And you
No,
said
I
it
told
runs.
you it runs and it's licensed, but it's not
It's
sitting
not
there.
sitting
It
there?
hasn't been there for 2 months.
Okay, all right. And the car trailer's registered, but you
Yeah.
don't believe that the mobile home and the enclosed trailer should be considered a nuisance?
Well, it is skirted off. Except for the little trees that are growing along the side of the deck and on the one side of the mobile home. Which a lot of them have been there for a long time.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of garbage, I mean, odds and ends on the deck and the
There
deck's
is,
not in ill repair. Or appears to be in ill
It just
repair.
needs to be had deck work changed to it,
Okay.
otherwise it's solid.
Okay. And the enclosed trailer is like an old, it kind of reminds me of an old enclosed, like ice cream truck with or
It's
refrigerator.
actually a
truck.
trailer.
It is a trailer?
It's an enclosed
Okay,
trailer.
it's old, it's like my age.
I was gonna try to get my 2 youngest daughters, bring their butts out and do my dad a favor and paint the trailer. And the enclosed trailer.
I think my answer goes back to, like we've said before, there's a list on here. We'll get to semantics on what people think is or isn't
Yeah.
nuisance and all that kind of stuff. But as we show improvement and all that, perspectives can change.
Well,
And so I get back to have a plan, stick to the plan, demonstrate progress with an endpoint.
I'm trying.
And sir, we respect your judgment to say, this looks respectable to me. Does it look respectable to you? We respect your judgment to say.
Well, it's not totally respectable to me, but it also is back in a lane that nobody needs to be down.
But actually that comes into per our ordinance, it comes down to do you guys agree that that notice was sent out on a nuisance property?
Is a.
Well, there was a reason for it to be a nuisance when you sent me the ordinance.
Okay,
I agree with that.
okay,
As I told you, I've never disagreed with the cleaning up, period.
Good.
I want to get rid of this property myself. I pay way too many stewards out there.
then the other one that's just a little bit different, remember I had asked to skip Burkhart and come do that last because it was gonna tie in with Mr. Bennett's. Well, anyway, so the owner of record of the property is Al Cornish, Rita Bennett, or
Burkhart.
Rita Burkhart, yeah. However, there's a swap that's been in the works for 2 years.
A little over 2 years.
So, but since the nuisance letter's been mailed out, there's been motivation by the Cornish Burkharts to finish that transfer.
Done.
So they haven't, you still have that meeting set up with
Yes,
Billy?
for the 14th.
Okay, so there's a meeting scheduled with Billy
Transfer the
Copley
property.
to transfer the property. And on top of that, the next door neighbor to that property, Mr. Koch,
Tony Cox.
wants to buy
From
those
Western
5 lots
Pavilion to
from
finance.
Ben when it's the property, when he is the owner of record. So hopefully that transfer could all happen the same day. Have you?
I
Okay.
haven't, Billy hasn't called me back yet.
Okay.
I did try to get the hold of him yesterday.
So anyway, there's a mobile home that's abandoned that has trees lying across it that have had trees lying on it for over a year. We can see those trees on the aerial flights that were flown in March, April of 2022. So I've talked to Mr. Bennett and whoever would it be agreeable to you guys if it is transferred to the next door neighbor, Tony Koch, that there was a letter at the sign of transfer stating that the mobile home has to be either repaired or off the property by September 30th,
Regardless of the owner.
regardless of the owner.
I'm okay with that.
And that you have that signed by Mr. Koch when the
Yep.
property transferred.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that way, he's aware of it. We all know he's aware of it as well.
Right.
They don't come back on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the part I.
Absolutely. So,
Again, so are we going down through these and making, taking action
if you
as we
would,
go?
yeah, so the request would be September 30th on all the properties listed, even though we're confident the one on Lake Shore should be done this week.
Right.
The one on, 23602.
Extended through
Is there a
September
motion?
30th, but that also includes the letter.
Right.
Property transfer.
Right.
to the Mobile inventory.
If it doesn't transfer, I'll have a mobile home gone myself.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second to approve the extension to September 30th. As presented on the 6th property presented to us. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
I,
You might want to check with Billy right now.
yeah, well, what's
So
the,
what
give
are
me
you
a
gonna
call
do with
back.
the Al Cornish and Rita Burkhart property?
That's the one that's going into my name on the 14th of August.
But you said he already has 6 properties. Wouldn't that one be the 7th?
Well, that would be the 6th if we looked at it. That he has 5, that would be a 6th.
Yeah.
So if you wanna make the same motion for the Burkhart.
So really, what
Cornish
I need to
property.
say, 5 properties owned by Ben and 1 property owned by Al Cornish and Rita Burkhart? Is that
Yes.
What is
correct?
that address?
10101 Rock
Okay.
Drive. One of the bottom of this list here.
Make that motion about that.
101.
101.
Rock Drive.
And you're giving that extension until September 30th?
Yes, but there must be a letter signed. Regardless who ends up owning it, so.
Right.
If you ended up owning it, don't transfer, you have to have a letter to say you're gonna have it cleaned up by the 30th. If it goes to the neighbor coach, they have to have a letter. signed.
He's already agreed it's gonna be cleaned up by the 30th.
I got somebody that'll already come and get the mobile.
Is that a separate motion?
Yep.
Second
A
that.
motion and a second to approve the extension for the Burkhart as discussed property. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Lori.
to see you.
Get to work.
I'm going. I got a couple guys here this morning. Well, I was a little bit late. Thanks
for
guys
coming
very
in.
much.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Yeah, good to see you.
Okay.
Okay, we're on a time limit. We got
Yeah.
a work session at 11 and Andrew.
Okay, so Dalzing Ayler's property. So it's Don Dalzing and Lisa Ayler's. They have a property on Pine Street. This is what we would, you guys.
It's Lisa Dale, Dalzing and Don Ayers.
Did I
Yeah.
say that backwards? Okay, thank you. Right church from the pew. They have a property on Pine Street that is several lots. Then, and we probably all know, we've seen this one on our slides. This is what we would call the pallet property. He has made considerable effort on this, and just due to the sheer volume, it's gonna be,
Has this one been extended before?
no, sir.
All right,
And this would have been one of the July notices.
so they made a request. What's the pleasure of the board?
So
You're seeing improvements.
Yes,
what, you give it what percentage done? 20%? 40%?
the 20, 15, 20 is probably, and just so you know, he's also been helping other neighbors with their projects. People that aren't able to do some of their projects. So but he has made progress.
What is that address for?
I don't have it in front of me. I know it's Pine Street.
Ruth, you wanna come back up? Maybe in the spreadsheet, if we give names and addresses and.
I don't want to give the wrong address. It might be.
But I mean, just going forward, so we can check mark on one sheet of paper, I'm looking back through.
Is this, he's extended before,
No, ma'am.
first extension?
No, first. Yeah.
I'll
Which,
Being that we're almost halfway through August,
make a motion to go to the end of September.
I'll second that.
okay.
Motion a second to extend nuisance violation cleanup with Lisa Delsing, Donald Ehlers as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. And then I believe there's a handwritten letter there from Flowers asking for an extension. They've made some progress also. They were down to basically some salvaged building materials and other things, but just keep in mind, the yard's a little eclectic. And I wouldn't be looking at that type of stuff as nuisances. So, but the building materials, and so he is requesting a 30-day extension.
Have they been granted a previous?
No, sir, this would have been
Okay.
July notice. And yeah, they've made progress.
Pleasure of the board.
Go with the 30 days.
We'll be talking.
Or into September, to make it.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the extensions to the Clowers as recommended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And then Mr. Hartman's asked for another request for an extension. I believe this is
Close.
He is, it's looking amazing. It's a big project, you guys. It's looking very good. I think he's down to 5 pallets of his landscaping blocks, which is, and then seriously, that's the only thing other than his pile of sand or aggregate that goes underneath the landscaping stone that's on that lot across the street. So.
A second.
Got a motion and a second to approve extension to the end of September. Any further comments? Do you believe, Lori, that end of September, this one should be completed though, with you saying so I don't expect any extension?
I'm really not, especially since you guys are going to the end of September, I don't look for him to be back.
I would say he needs to be done. He's had 3 extensions.
Yeah, and I'll touch
Make a
base
note
with
if
him.
it's not completed, but then process of abatement will continue.
He's doing awesome work.
He is,
And
And we appreciate it, but we.
and I understand that he's waiting on some people to level.
right, and he doesn't live here.
So.
He does not live here, so he's, he's dependent on, or not year round, you know what I mean?
So I have a motion and a second on the table to approve the Hartman extension till September 30th. With restrictions. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed nay. Motion carried.
May I make one last comment?
You bet.
Just to remind people that the website is jacksoncounty.iowa.gov, all spelled out, to take the comprehensive plan survey. And just so you know, one of the other avenues I did is I sent everybody in the courthouse an email asking them to take the survey. And I know I sent out more than 40 surveys.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, thank you guys.
Yep. All right, people, did you hear that? Let's take the survey. We need everybody's input. Or we would like to have everyone's input.
Please.
It's your county.
And that's every person in the household, right? Not just a household.
They're
How are
not
they doing?
stopping them, because, well, I mean, like my household, we have different opinions on a lot
Right.
of different things. and
But that's
different
what
visions.
I just want people to know.
Oh, yeah.
How we,
Yeah,
you
so
know.
if more than one person takes the survey, that's a non-issue in a household.
Right.
Yep.
Looking for input.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lord. All right, looks like Jeremy is here from Midwest Construction
Yes.
to give us an update.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
So we got some exciting things going on. We're gonna get some grading started this week. Steve's coming out probably Thursday. The masons are done with all the holding cells, showers, everything except the mezzanines. And the mezzanines will be poured. They're gonna shoot for Thursday. I've got electricians putting the final conduit in them and stuff. And so we get them poured. With this approval on the expansion, we can get the masons right up there and get them back to work on that. Got all the steel studding in the administration is complete. Got drywall going up. I did get an email from Valerie Reeves, State Code Enforcement today, asking me if I was closing the walls. She'd like to come out Friday to see it. And I said, yeah, we are in the process of closing walls. I guess I can put a halt to it till Friday. So she's wanting to see that. All the electrical rough in is done up there. Obviously, they're spray foaming right now in the admin on the exterior walls. Like I say, with the grading, we get that done. I'd like to see some parking lots go in, hopefully, by the end of August, 1st of September. So get that poured. The roof is complete. The cap metal is on. I held off on the gutters because they tend to get messed up if you put them on too soon when there's a lot going on outside and everything. So we've got that. Sprinkler guys haven't started yet. I'm not too worried about that. They generally come in and blow and go, so waiting on them. Bruce Builders still got some frames to set, stuff like that. I'll be honest with you, in August, from my experience, a lot of these contractors are finishing up schools before school starts, and it's tricky getting guys in August, and that's kind of becoming a factor with them. They know it, it's stacking up a little bit, but I'm not that concerned about it at this point in time, so pushing them, gotta get here, so other than that, I mean, I've been in contact with Black Hills. I've got to get gas coming in and everything, so I've got to get them some information, working on that. and should see that.
Are you working with the gal out of Dubuque? Is that, I
Valid?
somewhere got a confirmation number? Yeah, I believe, I got it in my notes.
From state code, Mike, is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about Black Hills because when I called to get you asked me to call to get a number. Well, I got somebody in Arkansas.
Well, you got the ball rolling in the right direction apparently, because the tech come out and I've met with him.
Well, I made a couple more calls and the gal from Dubuque was nice enough to call me back and she put us in the right direction. I give your information and I believe I give your.
No, I've got the green light on both jobs and I'm kind of doing the engineer's work for him because of Black Hills, because typically they ask me for a connective load on BTUs, which I provided to him. And then he comes back and he says, well, you need to fill out every RTU, every water heater, and break this all down individually and give the BTUs for all these pieces of equipment separately so that they can add it up themselves, which I've never seen before. And that hit me like last week. And I told the guy I'd have it by Friday. And then I called him Friday and I didn't have time to put it together. And I said, it's going to be, so I need to get that afternoon, I guess, sit down and figure it all out. So, they threw that in my lap.
I guess I don't know what are requirements if that's his job. I don't,
I've never had that happen before with like Mid-American or Alliant. Usually you give them the connective load and they run with it.
So have you worked at Black Hills before? Is this something?
I did in Manchester at Delaware County Jail. Yep. Actually, my landlord up there was a kind of a big shot in Black Hills. In fact, I might just give Jim a call. What's going on here, dude? I know Jim very well.
Yeah.
Jim Thompson.
Yeah.
So I just thought of that. I think I will call Jim.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
But other than that, you guys, I'm sure know the street connection with sanitary is all complete and everything. So looking good that way.
I guess I didn't know, but that's good news.
Yeah. Week of the fair, they did that. So, yep. As far as fairgrounds job, that's running smooth. Got studs going up down there. Got an electrical inspection next Tuesday, and then they're going to start spray foaming down there. And we can start closing walls up down there and everything. And I want to get a parking lot down there here pretty quick too. So
you said that the roof is done at the jail.
Yes.
We anticipate next week awarding a bid for solar array that's going to sit on top of that roof, because it looked like we got favorable, or at least the appearance seems to be favorable numbers. Will that kind of complicate things?
When do they plan on starting?
Well, they don't have approval yet. So
I mean, if you do approve it, are they good to go right away, or do you don't know?
That could be coordinated.
I guess it could be coordinated as long as all the locations of the rooftop.
When I say the roof's done, it's not 100% done. The roof is on. The RTUs, the rooftop units, still haven't been set.
Right.
The Geisler's still waiting on 2 units.
Yeah.
So once they set those units, then they'll flash those in. And then I've got some more roof penetrations that the plumbers have got to make. They'll come back and put their witches hats on there and everything. For all practical purposes, the roof's on. You know what I mean? It's just finishing up those little.
But we don't want to get in their way. We don't want to get in the way of the units. So I guess we'll have to coordinate if it does get awarded, the project does get awarded, we'll have to coordinate.
Well, one thing to think about with that, I would presume they're going to put that stuff up there with a crane, I imagine. And if I got a parking lot going in, I don't want a crane on a fresh parking lot. However, I'm not going to pave the north side just yet. We're going to wait on that, but I'd like to get that south parking lot just as soon as Steve gets done. I'd like to get Jason in there pouring that parking lot. I want to get that as soon as possible so we can start shifting people over there on that side, free up that other side, and then start looking at getting ready for that. So
here would be my suggestion is if this gets awarded, as we presume it might, that contact will be made soon with you to coordinate either designs or how this is going to work best for you.
I'd say the sooner the better, but yeah,
it
goes without saying. And I don't know, I honestly don't know anything about solar. I've never dealt with it. Not one bit. But so I don't know. I presume that they would have to
Might do
coordinate
a
with
food truck, I don't
the electricians and stuff on, you know, I just hope that switch gear and that all those panels and everything. I assume is gonna, you know, made up to that system or whatever, you know, so.
Hopefully we'll soon find out.
We'll
Yeah.
coordinate.
Yeah,
So look, we should know whether it is or isn't next week.
okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah, that'd be good. So do you guys want me to come in next week then? or-
Do we know anything as far as I know there was maybe some negotiating still going on? Do we know anything about the process of that or progress?
I know
should say?
John's reached out to Bruce Builders, trying to get that number down even further. There's probably not gonna be any negotiation with any electrical, you know, that kind of is what it is. We were trying to find, or we are going to try to find a local steel fabricator to maybe not only speed up the process of the stairs to the mezzanine, but maybe also lower the cost a little bit, you know, of that.
He's gonna talk to another contractor maybe about the stair construction.
Yeah, so down there, there's Huffman's, we've dealt with them quite a bit and everything, and I had a lot of railings built at a school and stuff with them. And John knows them very well, so he's gonna reach out to them, so.
I know Bruce Builders are kind of strapped for manning because of the different jobs they got going on, but I just hope that maybe we can use this as a little bit of leverage because our contractors are starting to pile work up and having to slow down because they're not meeting thresholds that we can use that towards.
Yep.
Getting more people here and maybe.
Them and the plumbers. Yeah, that's been a struggle, so.
We need to make calls.
I
Well,
guess
I'm on it, but you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you can lead a horse to water, that old saying, you know, type deal, but, I'm not scared yet.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I like that.
I always tell John, if it's gonna go in the ditch, I'm gonna let you know, so.
we
But,
do appreciate the update. Brent, do you have any questions, concerns at this point? So we do appreciate it. I
Okay.
guess I am going to, at least every 2 weeks, if you think there's, I guess, your better judgment to say, if we need to know something, I guess, come on in for a couple minutes. And
okay, I think probably the week after next would be good, you know, I think hopefully we'll have that grading done by then and.
Yeah.
You know, some other good stuff, so.
And then that'll give us a chance, if we approve this, we expect solar people to touch base immediately.
Yeah, that'd be great, yeah,
So
so,
that way you can.
yeah, I'm here to learn.
You're
so.
good to go.
Okay, thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
Jeremy.
Yeah, you bet. Everybody have a good day.
You bet. So, I mean, we do have a little time here. I told him it might be late, but I've got a stack of papers over there, the way it looks.
You have a lot. Didn't know if you're gonna be back to Macokota sometime.
Actually, me and my wife intend to just leave the county for a couple of days. So yeah, I'll catch up here. I told him we may not be there till 11:30, and Marty is also gonna go. I gotta update him, and he's gonna intend to go and show us the buildings and such up there that he knows about, so. If we're there by 11:15, I think we're just fine. As far as other reports, I guess we were all at the RTA meeting. I mean, we all know that the software difficulty that they're having and might not get 100% worked out, but they are working through it and things are progressing. Total numbers looks good, really good for the RTA. I know Don had mentioned some things in the meeting that they're doing here in Macokota that he really liked, and if anybody has suggestions for the RTA or rides for somebody that we can help coordinate, boy, they're there to serve. And
they're talking about carpools for like jobs, if they know of a group of people that go to the same employer out of town, like Davenport, Eldridge, you know, Dubuque. The RTA can coordinate. They said they might even supply a van to, I mean, they're looking at a lot of different things. We got the new volunteer that came and presented to the senior center. She's kind of coordinating a lot of the senior activities, and they're doing almost monthly trips through the RTA, going to different places. They went to a play, different things like that. It's really starting to take off well down there. So they're getting a lot of response. So it's a little worried about Bellevue people and Macokota people, and I said we're county. It doesn't matter where they come from if they're participating. Right. You know, anybody anybody in the county can come to our facility, just like we can go to anybody else's facility, so. But yeah, it's kind of exciting to see what's going on down there. It's finally getting some traction and a lot more participation.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's with $4 gas, it certainly makes sense to ride together if you can, you know. And they are a good group and they really work at it, and as far as volunteers for some of them groups also, so. Oh yeah, their numbers look good. Of course, some of that's gonna drop off with the funding since COVID and such, but progress is being made. They still are in search of a new executive director, if you call it that. Kelly is retiring. They're gonna be on board part-time until, I don't know what the date was, but they have I think they said 3 or 4 good applicable candidates anyway. I don't know if I have any other boards or commissions.
Iris is moving forward. They're basic with the Dresslers division up there, getting water up there. One thing they're trying to work through right now is with Spruce Creek. We thought we had it figured out, and they're wondering they might have to actually have 3 meters instead of 2. And I talked with conservation up there, and they're looking into some different options also, so.
All good. Any other business before the board?
Most to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.